Awesome. Again, well, good morning and wonderful to see all of you guys here this morning and this afternoon to the people in the East. I'm really excited to be able to share all of the Davines product families to you. My name is Jessica Ruth, and I'm based out of Vancouver, Canada, so that's why I'm so far away and saying good morning. Okay, someone says their friend is trying to get in the meeting. Um, Basically the best thing I can say is to just get the app that you guys all have and just join the meeting with the number, and it should be okay. And I am letting people in the meeting, and there's no one that I don't let in the meeting. I have never had to kick anyone out, so far we're good. So yeah, so I'm based out of Vancouver, Canada, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the Davines product families with you today. One of the reasons that I feel it's so valuable to cover all of the families at once is that many times we get a little overwhelmed when there's more than a handful of things in front of us. And so with that, by breaking down the Davines product families, it helps you really understand the purpose and the why behind each of them, and for you to hopefully feel a better connection to how you can connect personally with them. So when we go through this, a few things that you can do that can maybe be helpful is when we talk about a specific product or even a specific concern, sometimes if you identify those products with a person you know, it helps you remember them easier. So for example, when we talk about curly hair products, if you think about whether it's for you or someone you know with curly hair, you're like, those are the products for that person. It starts to kind of get you into that personal prescription. When I was behind the chair, I actually would do that too, is I'd look at what my schedule was going to be like, and I would kind of already set in mind, like this person would be a great person for this product, and this person would be a great person for this product, and kind of work through the whole kind of list and the variety of what we have to offer. When you do that, you actually realize that you are doing more personalization, which is really important to all of us. Whatever it is that we do in life, most of us do not want to feel like we're average or that we're clumped in together with everyone else. We want to feel like we have something that stands apart or makes us unique. Whatever it is, whether you're a consultant, whether you're behind the chair, whether you're a salon owner, I think it's important that we embrace our own individuality. And with that, part of that also comes with an aspect of acceptance. I touch on that just because sometimes right now we will see big group chats of people, really firm in their positions and in their beliefs and thinking everyone needs to do what they're doing, whether it means to open their salon this way or open it that way or what protocol they're doing. And I want to remind you of the fact that we all are going to do things differently, just as in this case, we're all going to have different products that are going to work for our hair needs. Most chances are none of you have your hair, my color, my texture, and my style, or even the fact of maybe how aged my hair is, meaning the percentage of gray. And so each of you are going to have your own individual needs and desires, which means there's going to be an assortment of products set up for you to support that. So once we get past kind of how that works for individual needs, then I want to remind you of how Davines is so aligned with sustainability. So one of the terms that you've probably heard of throughout time with Davines is sustainable beauty. And I think when I first heard the name sustainable in that way, I didn't actually really go in as deep as I do now. It just sounded nice in a way. It was just sort of, the beauty industry and just a nice way to refer to it. That was probably almost 10 years ago. But now, as time has gone on, we start to realize that that goes in a little deeper. Davines is a very, very unique company. So originally, it was founded in 1983, and the product started being manufactured that we're aware of then about 10 years later. So the name Davines comes from the Bellotti family's son and daughter, Davide and Stefania, and the two names are merged together to create Davines. It's an Italian-based line, produced and manufactured and crafted all in Parma, Italy. We have a Davines village there where everything is manufactured in-house. When we look at the story behind that, it really is handled with care. The whole way that the company operates is using 100% renewable energy. So the energy that's operating to manufacture the facility, but also to create the products, including the research and development, including the team's flights, the offices, everything is with 100% renewable energy and offset the carbon emissions through ethio trees. So trees are planted, water systems are irrigated and to create more pure water, and as well supporting the culture and the communities in Ethiopia. And so this is something that's very important for us to remember, that it's not just about the individual products and the performance, but it's about creating sustainability. And so through that, Davines took the opportunity to be certified as a B Corp. So that certification proves that Davines improves the world around us. And so that's going to be an important certification. Hopefully you have time to look that up yourself to get a better understanding of what it means to become a B Corporation. But at the same time, what I really like about it is the fact that it's not just Davines saying we are sustainable and we do these incredible things, but it's a certification that's outside of us that is proving that fact. So with that, I think that that's an important part to be able to share. So for me, when I'm talking about Davines, I like to think of 3 reasons why in anything, because then it's easier to be able to share. So I'm going to say at this point for today, one of the things that I think for me is incredibly important is the fact that Davines is certified as a B Corporation to prove their commitment, not only from the past and not only from the present, but in the future to continue on that path for sustainability and making the world a better place. With that, I also love the fact that we manufacture and do all of our research and development and packaging in-house. That's very rare. And so with that, we're aware of the fact of the various ingredients that are used. When we live in North America, we often look for various certifications, such as hearing a certification like having something that's organic. Because in Europe, and specifically in Italy, where the products are coming from and many of the ingredients are coming from, they're going to use slow food farms, which are manufactured in the original way that products and ingredients, fruits and vegetables and plants were originally produced. And so with that, when we think about there's no toxic things being put into the soil or into the air around those ingredients, we're not going to need the same certification that sometimes we need in North America because of the genetically modified ingredients that are put into the farms, primarily in North America. So those types of certifications are not necessary in the same way. And so we do know and have a good understanding and relationship with the majority of the farmers that we get our ingredients from. And then we manufacture to confirm the fact that when we're using these ingredients, they are going to improve the quality of the hair, the skin, and our color. If it doesn't improve that or doesn't enhance it, then we feel that it is actually wasting the natural ingredients. Because the best way to be able to use natural ingredients is going to be able to make sure that either we're ingesting them or they're improving something. Otherwise, it's not sustainable because we're wasting them. The other factor would be to consider that we want to make sure that the products are going to be biodegradable. And so we're considering what happens to the ingredients prior to us making them into the Davines products, and of course, what's going to happen after. So there's a whole journey and life cycle that's considered that equals sustainability. So again, when we think of all of those factors, those are going to be incredible stories for why Davines for you, but probably for anyone else that would be interested as well. Remembering that consumers are often confused by what happens with professional products or even products like Davines. They may not realize that there's a story behind that. They may think that you're purchasing the products just because of packaging and fragrance, and they may not understand that there's such a deep story. For many people, they live their lives wanting to check things off a list to know that they're doing good things for them and for the environment. So by people knowing that Davines is certified as a B Corporation, proving that Davines makes the world better, that naturally helps them feel that by supporting you and supporting the products, they're doing that. So again, remembering hair, color, hair products, and skincare are all going to be manufactured together and certified as a B Corporation. So when you're using Davines color, it's important that the consumers know that commitment that you've made as well. So with that, let's jump into the product families. Again, a reminder that the session is being recorded. The login is my phone number, so at any point you can text me so that you can receive this recording. But also, I did mute you all, so at any point you can message in to have any questions or feedback. I'm happy to kind of support you. And it does often help other people too when you ask questions, because I may not be remembering to go into something as depth as maybe you would like to hear, or it will help other people know the answer to a question they have too. So with that, we'll get into the product families. So the main one that we see behind me right now is called Essential Hair Care. I like to consider this like our daily vitamins. It is also going to be considered potentially farm to shower, right? So when you think of it, you know, people say farm to table, where you're taking natural ingredients and you're bringing it to the table to eat. Well, we're taking these natural ingredients and we're bringing it straight to the shower. So daily vitamins mean there are things that are going to help you on a daily basis get the immediate performance that your hair will require. It also is going to be a line that will give you more of a cosmetic effect. So what that means is cosmetic means it will make the hair feel and look incredible in that moment. So when we get into some of the other lines, you're going to see that they're going to be more of an internal treatment that you can kind of see the difference on why. But with this, we're really supporting sustainability because of the farms that we're getting our products and our ingredients from in the Essential Hair Care. These are the ones that we're using slow food farms. So when you look at the packaging, you're going to be able to see each of them has a specific farm where the ingredients come from. And then there's the nicknames. Each of the names are a nickname. I'm hoping that all of you have a fun nickname that you appreciate, because usually that means that someone gave you that nickname because you're special to them and because you mean something that is like a fun and cute way to associate you with. So with this, it's our way of saying these products are endearing to us. How we would look at that is, let's say the one like Momo. What would that be the nickname for? Moisture. So as we go through, what you'll see with the packaging is they have a nickname. It will tell you the performance below it. It will also tell you the farm with the primary ingredient that it is used in. And when we move to the back, it's going to talk about the fact of having slow food farms and that we are supporting biodiversity. Biodiversity is by supporting these farms so that these unique ingredients do not become extinct. And when ingredients or plants or animals or sea life become extinct, we start to lose biodiversity, which is what supports and keeps the world alive. So we find that it's very important to support these farms, to support these ingredients, and to prevent extinction. So with that then, let's consider the packaging. The packaging itself is food grade plastic. So why would we use food grade plastic? A few reasons. One is that it is a softer plastic in this situation, so we're using less plastic, but also in the manufacturing of products, when you start to create new packaging, you're creating more waste, where we're able to use, in situations like this, existing packaging that was made for food. When you look at the bottom, I don't know if you'll be able to see with the lighting here, maybe there a little, you can see that it actually tells you you can microwave it. So we're clearly not going to be microwaving our products, and it will have a knife and a fork. We're also not recommending to eat the products, but at the same time, it's telling you this packaging was originally made for food. So we're using packaging that was made for another purpose, at the same time as we're protecting the natural ingredients from contamination. Many different plastics can be toxic. And so with that, you can tell that there's not a high lamination. So from a toxic plastic standpoint, we're not going to be concerned with what we're doing from that perspective. So with that, people will say, well, why do you have these tubs? And it's interesting because I can tell that this product, the last time I stored it in one of the containers, I did not store it flat. It was on a slight angle. It takes actually a fair bit of time for the product to move. What does that tell us? It tells us we're using the least amount of water possible while still having a product that can spread and distribute. So what are some of the things that you want to consider with that? When you're using a product that's very concentrated, Think of a beautiful eye cream or a beautiful face cream. If you pump and pump and pump and you put it all over, it isn't going to absorb, but you're also potentially wasting that product. So in this case, you're dipping in a little bit, you're rubbing it in your hands, and you're making sure that your hair is quite moist so that you can really distribute it through. If you need more, just like you're putting on face cream, you go back for more, as opposed to a whole bunch, either pumping in the back bar or a whole bunch scooping, because the clumps of it, because it's so concentrated, are just going to end up going down the drain. Although the ingredients are biodegradable, it is still wasteful to not be utilizing that product. So good reminder for back bar, good reminder for consumers and for yourself to think of this like a quality skin cream. And then if you did end up with too much water in it, then from the shower, you just dump it upside down. This is the one that I think I opened the other day for a demonstration. So there's a little signal here that tells you how this works. What you're going to do is you're going to peel it up and then you open. So there is a little hinge on it and then you seal back in. I actually love to use these conditioner containers. I reuse them for all sorts of things like different nuts. Sometimes if I'm going somewhere, I put dog food in it. So put plants in it, anything you can think of. For the salon, you could put bobby pins, hairpins. So I just always am saving these containers and reusing them. So Davines also does provide the conditioner containers on their own if you ever wanted to use it for display purposes. I feel like it is a nice reminder. So when the end consumer is curious about why Davines, when they understand the B Corp certification, the alignment with sustainability, the fact of supporting biodiversity and all of these unique ingredients, and then considering the packaging and the story behind that, and that everything is controlled in-house, which means there's a quality to the production as opposed to farming it out to who can make it the least expensive. When you think of all of that, the cost and the value of the product is huge, as well as the concentration factor. So these are going to be important things to be able to share. So as we go through the family, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a quick breakdown. And again, think about who do you know that would be good for this product. So when I start with Solu, Solu is your solution. So this would be your clarifying solution. The natural ingredient from a slow food farm is buckwheat. Buckwheat is naturally put in as a fertilizer to help enrich the soil so that the next crops are going to be full of vitamins and they're going to be their optimal health. So with that, consider this. This is your solution, your clarifier. So it's the perfect shampoo to start off at your back bar. It's an also perfect shampoo to be using once a week as your Sunday shampoo. If you like to use dry shampoos, if you like to use powders, or even some of the sprays or chalks or crayons for your color, if you are blonde, if you like to go swimming, if you have any mineral buildups in the water, or even if you just like to use a lot of product or don't wash your hair all that often, this is going to be the perfect clarifying solution for you once a week to use it. Because we don't use sulfates, we're going to feel that the clarifying solution is going to be an important one to kind of give you that deep cleanse before we move into the performance factor of the rest of them. So with that, that's your Solu. So your Solu shampoo would be like an example of doing a really deep cleanse. Whereas the Solu sea salt scrub, which you can see here, a nice exfoliator. Think of the difference if we were to wash your face generally or exfoliate. What does the difference feel like? The exfoliation kind of gets in there a little deeper with the granules. So in this case, we're using sea salt, which is a slow food farm from the Mediterranean in Italy, as well as beet sugar that's going to give you nice soft fullness and volume to the hair. So with both of these, you can pick and use either one. You can alternate, or it's up to you if you feel that one is better to suit your needs. Why I mentioned blondes is because of the fact that, think of this way, when you think of how blonde hair works, blonde hair, naturally, compared to mine, when we're going to go into an environment, is naturally going to absorb more pollution visually. So although my hair may be absorbing what's around me and dust and pollution, I'm not going to see it in the same way. It may just become dull. But the blondes on the call are going to know that sometimes when they get their roots done, they have a nice, bright blonde feeling. But what happens in the mid-lengths and ends is it starts to build up. Specifically now, when you're going to go back to the salon without having your hair colored for a few months, it would be really important to get focused on the Solu shampoo and the Solu sea salt scrub to get that ends of the hair as bright as possible, so that when you go back to the stylist knows how much brightness there is, so that they don't have to unnecessarily lighten hair that doesn't need to be lightened when it actually just needs a good deep cleanse. Think about if you're going to exfoliate any part of your skin, your face, or even if you're going to do a nail buffing or scrubbing the floor, you're going to feel that there is a different shine and vibrancy and a different deep cleanse. So that's going to be the difference between the Solu shampoo and the Solu sea salt scrub. Now we move to the next one. When we look at the lineup here too, you're going to see that the more clear is going to be more cleansing with more volume, whereas when we look into more of the creamy, it's going to give more slip, conditioning, and more collapse to the hair. So finer texture of hair people generally prefer more deeper cleansing because they like to feel like their hair has a little bit of lift, whereas people with more thicker, coarser hair are going to often like feeling like their hair has more collapse and more soft and smoothness. So that will help you when you look at it, and that's why we're going through them in this format. Bolu is going to be your volume shampoo, so that's your nickname. Turn-ups are the natural ingredient in the Bolu shampoo that naturally give your hair fullness. When we think of the benefit of vitamins and minerals in hair care, they tend to create more texture and they hold on to water. So with that, you get a nice fullness in the hair, but it also allows some great surface texture. So that's going to be the benefit of that. When we start moving into more of the creamy shampoos, you're going to see more fatty acids in the ingredients. Fatty acids, think of skincare. What does it do? It makes it feel smooth and soft. And then when we look at amino acids, as we get into more of the restructuring, amino acids are the building blocks that allow you to have proteins in the hair. Our hair is made up of proteins, but also if we have proteins and amino acids, it allows it to be a house to hold the moisture. So you get that full reconstruction of having the strength of the hair with the hydration and the moisture together. So that's going to be what you see, the reason for the various ingredients. Day Day is going to be your delicate or your daily wash. I love this for the fact of people that want to wash their hair every day. Great, because it's a gentle enough shampoo for you to wash daily. It's going to allow the hair to still feel squeaky clean and fresh, but it is not going to be removing some of the oils that your hair naturally is going to require. So again, when we look at this, Solu's more of your deep cleanse. Think about who on the call may be benefiting from this. Your blondes, your dry shampoos, people that like to use a lot of product, people that swim, spend time in water, or if there's any type of buildup. Then you're going to have your Bolu, people that want to feel like their hair has tons of volume. With the Bolu, we don't actually have a matching conditioner because people that want volume sometimes don't need or want a conditioner to put the softness in. So they can pick one of the other conditioners, or they can even move into another family with a leave-in conditioner. Day Day is great for the people that want to wash their hair every single day and have a daily light wash. Then we move into Momo. Momo is your moisture. I like to consider that like my drink of water. So when in doubt, have a good drink of water, right? Hydration is going to be one of the key factors to optimal health. So with that, this is a kind of a fun story where we have yellow melons that were used for Momo. The yellow melons are brought into the Davines village, and then the seeds are actually brought back to the farm to continue the life cycle for planting. I think that that's such an incredible story to think about that step of still continuing the journey of sustainability for the farm. And even if we jump back to the Day Day with the red celery, it's actually the leafy part that's used for the shampoo benefits and the conditioner, and the stalks are allowed to be kept at the farmers markets. So with that, that's going to be how you see a continuation of sustainability. So with Momo, this is for dehydrated hair, but generally if I don't know what to recommend to someone, that's the one that I tend to go to. Now we're moving to our color story. Of course, when I say this, I do want to remind you of the fact that the whole line and any part of Davines is going to be color protecting and color safe. But hair sometimes needs a little extra support. So maybe it needs something beyond just being color safe, but giving it extra protection or extra support. So in this case of our color story, we have Minu, which is the nickname for illumination. This is going to give you color, lock, and shine. Nunu is going to be the nickname for nourishing, which is going to be supportive, hydrating, but also when we thought about it, kind of like building that and restructuring the hair. So who are these for? Minu with caper blossoms are going to be for anyone on the call that has gray coverage, darker hair, or bright colors, right? Thinking of color lock and shine, giving you more longevity with your color. Then Nunu is going to be for anyone on the call that is blonde or has highlights. So the minute that you're lightening your hair, you're going to need something that's going to be more supportive. So again, when we talk about back bar use, I always like to remind you that Solu is an incredible one as your first go-to, but it's always important to have both the Minu and the Nunu so that you're supporting color lock and shine and you're supporting your blondes specifically. So with that too, now moving down to the masks. You have a conditioner for both and a mask. The nice thing is that the masks also come in little travel sizes. I thought I had one, but it's in my bag. So with that, the travel sizes are great because they're 50 mils. So the masks, I think it's a great support to be able to do a shampoo and a conditioner and a little travel, or we could call it trial size, because if you're using a mask only once a week, think about how long this would last me, right? If I'm using this once a week with the short hair that I have, I'm not going to need that much of it. So from a financial commitment, it would be easier to get me to understand to use a small a small mask with the whole lineup. So now, what if we wanted to switch up the mask in the Minu and the mask in the Nunu? So previously, at one point, my hair was blonde. I'm pretty sure it's all gone now underneath this dark color, but let's imagine it wasn't. So I could be a really good person that could switch interchanging, meaning I would be using the Minu shampoo and the Minu conditioner because I wanted to keep the color lock and shine of the dark color, but because underneath it's blonde, I want to be protecting my hair with a Nunu mask. So the Nunu mask is what I'm going to use to protect the fact of my hair needing the restructuring and the strength that the hair needs from nourishment. Now, what if you happen to be blonde and you have a great toner, or you have some bright pieces in there that you want to make sure have color lock and shine? You could use a Nunu shampoo and conditioner and use a Minu mask. So these don't always have to be completely aligned, but it's remembering what does the individual hair need. I think that if you were to go to a physiotherapist, a chiropractor, natural medicine, any type of doctor, even a personal trainer, people would assess what it is that you have going on and hopefully give you your own personal prescription. So as you can see when we're going through, some of these are going to work for all of us, but as we start to really dig into it, we can feel that there is a more personal way that you can get the benefits of various products. So now we will move to Malu. Malu is going to be for what the translation from Italian to English is mellow hair. What is mellow hair? Mellow hair is hair that's very, very long and sometimes feel like it's lifeless. So with that, we're going to use Malu, which this has lentils. Lentils, thinking of lentils as being amino acids and giving you that strength to repair the hair. So hair that is very, very long. People will often say, I only want to cut the tiniest bit off of my hair. I'm like, absolutely no problem. People may come back and tell you that they've actually enjoyed having their hair longer, but they're noticing the ends are not feeling as good. So then you don't maybe have to take them back up to where they were before, but instead encourage them to the fact that they can go with the Malu shampoo, conditioner, and leave-in, and you can take a tiny bit off because this is going to ensure the strength and the repair of their hair so that their hair will come back the next time improved and they will see and feel a difference without the ends getting caught and kind of tangled. So this is a great repair for long hair or for anyone that wants to kind of maintain the length in their hair. So anyone that tells you, I only want the tiniest bit cut off is going to be the one that you're going to go to in this category. Now we have our Love Smooth and our Love Curl. So this is what I like to call our love story. So the Love Smooth is for people that want to have their hair smooth and soft. The Love Curl is going to be for people that want to bring out the bounce and the elasticity and the vibrancy in the curl to kind of bring that back to the surface. So with that, Love Smooth is going to use olives. Thinking of olive oil has a smoothing and a softening effect, whereas Love Curl uses almonds. So almonds are going to have fatty acids and they're going to help support the hair. They're going to bring that elasticity. And remembering the fact of with curly hair, when the hair grows out of the root area will often have a lot of oils. But as the hair goes down to the ends, it tends to get drier because the curl formation stops that oil from penetrating all the way through. Years ago, grandmothers used to tell their daughters to brush their hair 100 times to bring that oil through. It's actually true, because when the oil doesn't get brought through to the ends of the hair, then the ends of the hair don't end up getting the natural benefits that our bodies produce. So something like the Love Curl is going to help support that. So these are going to be great to consider, remembering that many of us have curly or textured hair. My guess is on the call, at least 60% of us naturally have that hidden. My hair, as it gets into this length, will start to have a little bit more wave, movement, and texture. So although maybe it's not what I'm seeing today, these are products that I could use to support the needs of my hair. So again, remembering that even if I don't choose to wear my hair curly, I can still use products that were meant and created for my texture. So with that, let's go through the whole lineup again, really quickly as an overview, but talking about what are the leave-in conditioners that are aligned with them. So how does this work? We have a shampoo and a conditioner for almost all of them except for the Volu. Then we have a leave-in conditioner. So think of this like a skincare regime. This is skincare for your hair. You have a cleanser and you have a cream, and then you have a various serum that's going to help enhance. Then we move into later, more inside, which is going to be your makeup, right? So it's sort of setting that foundation. So the hair itself, even if someone doesn't want to do styling products or someone doesn't want to wear makeup, they still want to improve the surface of the hair and reminding us of the fact that hair is a fiber, which means that the hair that is on our heads has been on our heads as long as it is the length. So with that, my hair, not very long. When you start getting into here, it's been about 7 years. But that's not having the ability to regenerate. That same hair that was here is still here. So it actually really needs more care and attention than maybe what we give it. Because we don't wear this sweater and this shirt for 7 years. We're constantly changing. Even our face is constantly, the skin is regenerating. So our hair actually needs a lot more care and attention if we want to have it in the optimal health. But also if we ever want to change the color or to feel like the texture can be managed specifically as hair ages. And age doesn't have to do with how old I am. It has to do with how long the hair has been on my head too. So with that, we will go through the various families. So Solu has your option for your shampoo or a scrub, and that is your solution, your clarifier, right? So I'm gonna say all of us probably would benefit from one or the other. Naturally, I'm going to personally enjoy more of the sea salt scrub because I like that feeling of an exfoliator. And sometimes I am using a lot of clays and waxes, so it does help kind of like really get that off of my skin and give me a fresh start. Volu is going to be great for volume. The nice thing is that as a support, we have a Volu mist. This is a leave-in conditioner that has volume. The only product in the essential hair care that is not considered vegan, and here's why. We use sheep's wool from New Zealand, so the sheep are given a haircut, and that is where we get the keratin from that gives us the strength and the volume and the lift. That allows us to get volume without having heat activation. So you can get volume alone. Keep in mind, if by chance you're in a state or a country or province where maybe you are not choosing to do blow dries, or maybe you are not allowed to do blow dries, these products, specifically something like Volu, are going to be a great product for you to be able to use. Some of my recommendations during this time are the fact of using the essential hair care leave-ins because they will be that additional support for the end performance. but also don't forget some of the leave-in masks we have, like Restless Circle, which I'll get into, which can be a great support to kind of leave someone in with a treatment as they leave. So therefore, although they're not going to be getting a blow dry service, they're getting a treatment, which kind of has a similar value. And so therefore, you're able to kind of support them going home. But we can get into those treatments later. But Golu is a great support product that way. Now we're going to move into Day or the Delicate Daily Wash. We have a wash shampoo and a conditioner. And at the same time, you're going to have the Day Mist, which is a leave-in. And this is going to give you your evening out of porosity. So what does that look like? Well, when you go to blow dry your hair, certain parts of your hair dry quicker and certain parts take longer. What that also tells us is that sometimes the hair that's been on our head longer or had more color services, been lightened and darkened, or just based on texture, we're going to find that this is a great detangler, but it evens it out. So it's also great as a support for color. So when you're coloring hair, nice to spray this through before pulling color through to the ends of the hair. Great all-around detangler, very light and weightless. So even for people that don't like to use a heavy conditioner, it's a great support. Now we move into Momo. Momo has Momo Potion. This is what I consider like hand cream for your hair. So we look at your hands, specifically right now, I will say for sure, with all the hand sanitizers and all the extra hand washing, our skin can feel a little dry. But the same thing can happen in our hair, depending on where we live. But I often say, if you think about your hair as like the environment you're in, if the environment you're in is quite moist, you still need moisture so that your hair doesn't become frizzy. And if the environment you're in is very dry, you need moisture so that it doesn't get kind of static and frizzy. So either way around it, hair is prone to changing the texture. And so how you could consider this is if you think of your hair like being like a sponge. If you have a really, really dry sponge and water hits it from different angles, it expands, but it only expands in some areas. So what if the moisture in the sponge is consistent? When moisture hits it, it doesn't change shape. And if it dries out hopefully a little more consistently because of it being moist all the way through. So that's how we want to keep our hair. This great product for the Momo Potion can be a leave-in as it's wet, or it can be used as a gentle finisher. Very concentrated, but beautiful and soft and shiny. Minu, Color Lock and Shine. So let's say you didn't want to use the shampoo, the conditioner, or the mask because one of the other product families suited you better, but you did want to have Color Lock and Shine because you wanted your gray coverage to last longer without, fading due to how your hair operates or due to the sunlight, or even just because you're going longer between your services. So in this case, even for toning, great to be able to use Minu Hair Serum because it's Color Lock and Shine to give you more longevity and to keep that cuticle closed. New shampoo, conditioner, and mask. Then we have our Malou. Our Malou, again, for mellow, for the people that say, I don't want to have my hair cut very often. We have a leave-in hair shield. Malou Hair Shield is perfect for decreasing your drying time. So that means if you have really long hair, it can decrease it by almost 33%. So around a quarter to 33%, your hair will be drying quicker. But it also has thermal protection. The majority of our products have heat protection, but this is the one that's going to give you extra, which is thermal, meaning it is supportive for irons, in curling irons or in flat irons. When you spray it in, you can blow dry it in, but let's say I wanted to spray it in now and use an iron. As long as you just make sure that you quickly dry it so that you're not going to have a wet surface. But it is a fairly light mist, so it dries very quickly, and then you can just use the iron right away. Now we have our Love Smoothing. So our Love Hair Smoother is going to be, again, remembering with olives, and this one is meant for smoothing out the texture. I actually will like this even on finer hair because sometimes people feel they don't have to use a flat iron because this has given the hydration, but the softness and smoothness that the hair is missing. Again, it could be used when it's wet to leave in, or it could be used dry. So all of these will be incredible supports for you as we move into the time frame when our salons are opening. Now let's look at our final portion of the love story, Love Curl Primer. This is actually one of my favorites It's actually a good reminder. I haven't used it in a little bit. But what I like it for is it is priming and prepping the hair. So it's a leave-in conditioner that's weightless, that's helping improve the elasticity and softness. But really, when I say weightless, it's like it's invisible. But when I don't use it, I do miss it. I stopped actually using it because I had my hair extremely short, so even shorter. And it was something to the point where it really didn't need a lot when I was styling it. But now that I'm getting more length to it, this is going to be a great product to support the elasticity and the shine and the softness. So with that, you can spray it in directly onto the hair. But for a shorter texture, I would probably just spray it directly into my hands. You can see it's quite like a light liquid, has a little bit of a creamy feeling to it. And then again, you would just rub it in and distribute it, which is going to give you that nice soft finish, but improving elasticity. What happens to an elastic band when it gets really dry is you start to pull it and it pops, right? So you want to keep the hair feeling like an elastic band that has that softness and elasticity to it. Now, when we go to the Love Curl shampoo, actually, versus the Love Curl cleansing cream, if we were to split hair textures into two with curly hair, we would say that the Love Curl shampoo is going to be great for people that have a more finer to medium texture, that need that elasticity. The Love Curl cleansing cream, on the other hand, is for that curly hair person that has more of a medium, coarser, ethnic texture, that needs softening and doesn't like to wash their hair. If they don't like to wash their hair, the Love Curl cleansing cream will be perfect for them. We recommend that every few washes, so again, people that aren't washing it all that often, they should go and either use the Love Curl shampoo or the Solu, because this one is going to be more cleansing, but in a soft cleansing way and not as intense with the good lather and removing as much of the buildup. So then if we look at the Love Curl conditioner versus the Love Curl mask, again, the same way that I'd split them up. The Love Curl conditioner is more finer to medium texture, whereas the Love Curl mask is going to be more for the people that are going to feel like their hair is more coarse, wiry, textured, or more of an ethnic texture. So that's going to be softening, and again, going to be very concentrated because of how both of these sit in the containers, you can tell. So after picking which one of those you're going to be with, you're going to use the Love Curl primer automatically. Then what you'll find is you're going to get to pick between the Love Curl cream, which is this one, versus the Love Curl controller, which is this one. Again, thinking of the texture, splitting them in the middle. A finer to medium texture normally needs bounce and lift, so they would want a Love Curl cream, whereas who would need control is more of that unwanted, unruly texture. So that's going to be how you decide the difference between the two. Then at the end of this, we now have the option of a Love Curl Revitalizer. I really appreciate that we have a whole curl family, because a whole curl family specifically is addressing the texture of hair that performs differently than what the rest of them are going to provide. A Love Curl Revitalizer is going to be a wake up. So let's say my hair was longer and curly, and I woke up and I had a bit of a flat spot, or I had an area that was too frizzy, but I'm not going to wash my hair today. I could go ahead and spray this in, almost like a spray bottle, like water, but instead it has a gentle texture to waken up that curl and to bring it back to life. So Love Curl Revitalizer, it's going to be a great support for curly, textured hair, but sometimes I even like to use it on anyone's hair as a revitalizer to waken it up, and it has a gentle texture to it. So that's going to be how things work for our essential hair care. And that's where we're going to see that this is going to perform very similar to daily vitamins for your hair. It will also be like skincare for your hair or farm to shower. So those are going to be good ways to see how essential hair care can support you, looking at the different nicknames to help you with what their performance is, and recognizing that each of them have a slow food ingredient and the farm is put right on the packaging. And I love the fact that when you see where Davines sits on the packaging, Davines is very subtle in kind of how it's presented. The name is in the lower side, and it is meant to just remind us of the support, but it's not about the name, it's actually about the story. So this is going to be how you see the essential hair care. So my hopes are that you've thought of someone that will sit with each and every one of these, and maybe a few for you. When we're looking at how hair performs best, our hair generally performs best when we have options with our hair. So generally in the shower, our chemists recommend that you have one shampoo and conditioner that you're using on a regular basis. And then what you do is you would switch between another one. Then at the same time, if you don't want to have both of them going, then use one. And when it's finished, then you start back with a new one. So kind of alternating in that way. Just like diet and exercise and any type of program that you do, if you continue doing the same thing over and over, you'll get the same results, which could be good, but you may not be getting enough of a well-rounded option. So that's going to be why you'd see the benefit of switching and having different ones to play between. Now I'm going to move to our Oi family. Our Oi family is one of our top sellers. It literally is that luxurious line that's going to support all textures of hair, but generally was created for the fact of knowing that this is for more aged hair and to protect from natural sunlight and age. So when we think about how we're aging, as we're just living and breathing, we are slowly oxidizing. So we want to create something that is antioxidant, fighting that aging process. So in that, we're using one of the ingredients that we focus on, which is Roku oil. So in this case, the line uses Roku oil, which is going to be fighting the aging process, but also creating a softening effect on the hair. So with that, there is a body line, which you'll see a body wash and a hand cream. Please don't neglect these two, because remember right now, what are we experiencing in our hands? We're experiencing roughness, and we're probably creating more aging effects on them because of all of our washing and sanitizing. So now what you can do with the body wash, there actually are pumps that you can get that were created, I believe, for the Alchemic, some of the other lines. So there's small little pumps you could put on and make this like a hand wash in your bathroom to soften your hands afterwards, and then apply the hand cream afterwards. Both of those are going to be beautiful supports for your skin, to support the Davines family, but also to support Oi. Now with this, the shampoo and the conditioner, fairly straightforward in how Oi performs. Again, thinking of something that is more softening and luxurious. Definitely the fragrance is something that we're known for. And I always want to remind people, for the odd person that says they may not be a fan because it has a more luxurious and richer smell, keep in mind, music is one of those situations too. Not everyone agrees on, but Oi is our #1 seller. So it's important to remember, even if the fragrance is not your personal preference, it still is incredible in performing. Personally, I do love it, and I feel like it dissipates. So although you may smell it initially feeling very rich and luxurious, but fresh, it does dissipate. So now that we've looked at the shampoo and the conditioner, we have an Oi butter. I'm going to refer to the fact that we have brand new, which is our trial size, which I love. Because even on hair like mine, I can benefit from the Oi butter, but I don't necessarily need a big container of it. So with this, how does the Oi butter work? This is going to be, just as the name says, butter. So when you think of hair that naturally tangles, that could be fine textures of hair. It could be a medium, it could be coarse. Sometimes it's confusing because when you look at hair, it's different than when it's wet. When it's wet, it can get very, very matted. So the butter stops your hair from behaving like dreadlocks. So it literally is butter in the hair and just softens. So for people with finer texture, the great option is I could wet my hair in the shower, put the butter in, rinse, and then shampoo with any of the products, or specifically the Oi, and then I don't even have to condition afterwards. So I could use the butter prior to the shampoo for the butter and softening effects. Or I could use it before and after if I had really big, wild, curly, textured hair, or hair that was, unruly. Or I could just use it afterwards. So you really have 3 options on how you can use the butter. Now we move into our milk and our oil. These two are for sure our #1 and #2 products anywhere we look, anywhere in the world. So why are these so popular? They literally give you everything your hair would require. They improve elasticity, they decrease drying, they have gentle heat protection, they're multivitamins, they're softening. like anything that your hair may need, both of these have the objective to perform. So with that, the milk is going to be a milky texture, where the oil is going to be an oily texture. Both of these will not affect the color of the hair, and they will not build up on the hair. So they're completely water soluble in the fact that when you wet your hair or you wash your hair, they completely are removed. So they're not going to create any type of buildup. But why would you pick the milk over the oil? When you think of how an oil kind of performs when it gets warm, so if I have an oil in my hand and it gets warm, it gets more slippery. So if I put an oil in my hair and blow dried it and then went to set it with a curling iron or a flat iron, that heat is going to soften and almost not allow the curl to have as much hold to it. So if I want to have any texture or fullness to my hair, I'd be better off to use the milk when I blow dry my hair, because later on using an iron, that milk is going to give me some gentle fullness and volume in my hair. Whereas the oil, maybe I would use after I've set my hair, just as a finisher. So either one of these can be used wet or dry, and they're both concentrated. Again, for hair, my texture, I'm quite happy to be able to use the milk in my hands and distribute through my hair that way. But if I put this in my hands right now and I rub my hands together, what I'll start to see is that I'll start to see a feeling that creates almost like a little bit of resistance. It's a good lesson to kind of let people try that so that they can feel that this is going to give them a little bit of fullness and volume. So therefore, they don't have to be afraid of using something like an oil. Whereas if I put an oil in my hand, right? So that's what the oil looks like. And then I rub this in my hands, definitely you're going to see that there's a different kind of shimmer. So there's going to be a higher gloss shine, and it is going to be a lot more smoother. So both are going to be great in how they perform, but there's going to be a slight cosmetic finish difference in each of them. So hopefully that helps you knowing how to use the difference. And again, if you're not doing blow dries, both of these will be beautiful just to leave in the hair and let be, and people will definitely see an incredible difference in how they perform. So 2 other products that are newer for us that I want to make sure that get addressed at this point are going to be our single shampoo and the one from last year, which is our liquid spell. So why don't I start with our single shampoo? So some of you may be familiar with the fact that there is a sustainability master course that I've worked on with Davines, based out of Davines, Italy, but also North America, to allow salons to be certified as a sustainable salon. We know that there is the term sustainable beauty used for Davines, and we know that sustainability is something that is incredibly important. Also, keep in mind when you look at marketing, and so many people use marketing to their advantage, which I completely appreciate and support and understand. At the same time, marketing can be tricky because words can be used in a way that do not always tell the authentic truth. So with this, Davines wanted to create a product that supported and represented the journey that Davines is on to completely be sustainable and to continue to improve whatever it is that we are doing. So what this is this is a project that literally is representing the journey of sustainability. It started 4 years ago with 262 formulas to get to where we are. Every one of the ingredients is traceable. We do use olive oil as a cleansing agent, and we also use a substance from sugar that's going to allow us to use it as like a carbohydrate that supports the texture, but also allows us to not use silicones. Quinoa protein will be the other source that we're going to see in this that's going to help strengthen and support and repair the hair. So you can use a single shampoo on any texture. This is going to be using far less plastic. It is also going to allow to be even further in the higher naturality, but also knowing the fact that it is high in biodegradability. So literally every part of the sustainable journey is a checklist in here. So with that, this is going to be our statement of our journey. We know that it is still not perfect because nothing can be 100% perfect, but we can continue to work on that. And so with that, we don't actually have a conditioner that matches this to that same capacity. At this point, when we measure what we have done to create the sustainability, knowing traceable ingredients, knowing the fact that we have eliminated anything that could be a concern while still gaining performance. This is really a milestone for us, but also tells us still how far we have to go. So this will support us. The fragrance is 100% natural as well. And when you're looking for a conditioner, my recommendation would be one of two options. Of course, using anything within Davines would be a great support, but you could, depending on the texture, just jump right in and use Liquid Spell. So I'll use this as an example and share the information, and then I'm gonna move to Authentic to share the information there. So Liquid Spell is quite of a miracle. When we think of the name Liquid Spell, it's kind of casting that spell. It's like that liquid magic. This gives us the ability to give internal and external treatment and benefits immediately. So this is using amino acids, and thinking of amino acids can help the hair become more compact, which can give more shine, but also support the strength and allow moisture to be trapped in. So with that, you're going to see the hair is going to be shinier, softer, fuller, and improved. This does need heat to be activated. So although this can be beautiful on its own, to get the true value and benefits, you do want to use heat. Using this once, the hair will be improved. Using it twice, even more improved, and continuously. So it will continuously improve the quality of your hair. When my hair was blonde, I have to tell you that I made a small mistake. Not being blonde, but the small mistake was the fact that I kind of didn't use my own advice. I jumped in the shower the next day and I washed my hair, because I like to wash my hair every single day, which is a big no-no when you're blonde. But jumped in the shower, washed my hair every day with all of my usual products for this texture and this color of hair. Well, you can only imagine that my hair looked like a dandelion. It literally was puffy and standing out in all directions. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do something to make this better, and I don't know what. So I did go and I used the milks and I used the oils and I used all of those things, and they started to make my hair feel and look better for sure. But I remembered that Liquid Spell would be the magic that I needed. I used this and immediately my hair had control, softness, and shine. Because just putting the oil products in or softness and shine isn't going to give that control or that compacting or that restructuring the way your hair needs. So this literally made the difference in my hair. Because this has the ability to give some thickening, remember it's concentrated. You don't need to use a lot to get the performance you need. So again, better to use less and come back to more. So this is Liquid Spell. It gives you the ability to restructure, rebuild the hair, but it feels externally good, meaning cosmetic, but it feels internally stronger, which is working from an internal treatment. So it has the benefit of both. So that's going to be a great support for you. But quickly, I'm going to touch on Authentic. Although Authentic is not one that everyone has in their salons, I will tell you that it is personally one of my favorites. It is 4 products in the line, Authentic, thinking of us being as authentic as possible, 98 to 100% natural, biodegradable, gentle enough to wash away or to be in the water. And so with this, the balm, which is a conditioner, a leave-in conditioner, an eye makeup remover, and a shaving lotion, for me is a perfect partner with a single shampoo. It is probably one of the closest that kind of supports in that same alignment of sustainability because of the fact of the multiple uses, but also because of how it's been created. The main focus ingredient in this is carthamine oil, which is safflower oil, and that has the ability to improve elasticity. So that's why it's great for skin and for hair. The whole Authentic line, which is 4 products. So you're going to have a cleansing nectar, hair and body. I'm gonna reach this one first, which is an oil, great as a hair oil, but 100% natural, so very, very rich. Great as a night oil for your face, great as a body oil, amazing as a beard oil. So for men, this is incredible. And it's going to be great for any type of support from massage perspectives. Butter, definitely my favorite. The Authentic butter is a treatment. It also has vitamin K in it. So this can be used as a leave-in treatment for your hair, a night cream, a cream for dry areas, hands, elbows, feet. It also has healing capabilities. So if you ever have a sunburn or you have any tattoos, This is a great support for healing. Incredible for all purposes. So this line, although it is only 4 products, is dermatologically tested and approved. So that means it is approved from a skincare perspective to be used on skin and hair and body. So Authentic is going to be a great support for you in a small little compact line. And again, remembering that a single shampoo is our journey in sustainability. So it's a very important staple piece to have in your salon to support where we're going and where we've come from. Now with that, let's move on to our Naturaltech. I do try to say that they're not all my favorites, but they do sound like they are. And Naturaltech is the line that I generally go to for my hair. Interesting story from yesterday. So yesterday I have a girl chat with 4 of the consultants from this area that I work with. And they had been on one of my calls last week, and we were talking about what happens to our skin and our hair during stressful times. And so during stressful times, what happens is that although we may internally or externally look like we're holding it together, our body has ways of showing how the stress is affecting us. And that can be with a skin reaction or with a hair reaction. So one of the things that you'll notice is that about 2 months after, so about 6 to 8 weeks after a stressful event, a traumatizing event, what you will find is that your skin or your hair may be immediately affected. And so with that, sometimes hair loss is what we experience after a traumatic event or experience. So I'm on the call with these girls yesterday, and they said, you mentioned that, and I can't tell you how much hair I've been losing, and I didn't realize why until you talked about it. So what we have to remember is our clients, just like us, have been through a lot of trauma and change and a lot of stress, and it's going to affect us differently. Even if people maintained and had their jobs, it doesn't mean that it's not affecting them in a stressful manner. So Naturaltech is created in a way for skin and hair to work as a treatment. It's kind of like visiting your naturopath or having a supply of products in your medicine cabinet. It's your support for people that have scalp or hair issues. The benefit, as we touched on with Liquid Spell, is going to be similar with Naturaltech, meaning the minute that you use it, it continuously improves the condition of your skin and your hair, even if you never used it again. Essential hair care, I use the Volu, I get volume today. If I use Momo, I get moisture tomorrow. So you get immediate benefits that kind of end when you use the next shampoo. Whereas Naturaltech is an ongoing program. So what I like to do is to find out from my clients, for one, if they've had any stressful situations. Do they experience hair loss? Do they have any dry or flakiness, eczema, psoriasis, dandruff? Do they have oily scalps? Or also, are they going to feel itchiness or pain? And then we can move into more of the hair conditions. What does the texture feel? Are they resistant to gray? Do they have breakage? So these are all going to be the people that fit into Naturaltech. So for me, I feel like my skin has always been that kind of challenging skin. When I was younger, I used to feel that before Davines, I used to never be able to use a shampoo without feeling itchy, or I'd get dry or flaky. And then now my hair results in the fact of having hair loss when I feel or go under stressful situations. So I know that Naturaltech is the one that I need to go to. Not that I don't love and appreciate essential hair care. It's just that when I'm not experiencing a scalp issue, I do feel that I need to be maintaining it with this. So we're using natural ingredients that have healing capabilities. So complexes and phytoceuticals are what you're going to see. And these benefits are going to prevent aging. They're going to have antiseptic and antibacterial properties to support, but they're also going to fight the aging process. So they're going to have that full healing capability all around. So that's how you're going to find the ideal performance. The simple way in this, and I do cover Naturaltech in one session completely on its own because it does warrant that, but I don't want to overwhelm you, but just more introduce the concept. So when you look at the names, you will always see the primary focus healing ingredient underneath it. Well-being is going to be with echinacea. The simple way that I can draw an analogy to that is that's going to be just like your general wellness, your general go-to, and your moisturizer. Think about when and why you would take echinacea. It's going to be healing, but also preventative. Then I'm going to move to nourishing. Nourishing is going to be one of your top sellers and something as a program in itself that I would always incorporate in with anyone that you're doing color correction or extreme blondes. It has a vegetable-based keratin, so a vegetable keratin that's going to restructure and re-strengthen the hair. With the keratin, you're going to see that you have two options for a conditioner. So a finer and medium have a conditioner, which is the Veggie Miracle. And then the Veggie Miracle Mask is going to be more for medium and coarser or thicker textures. So addressing the fact that when you have finer hair, your hair is going to need different supports than thicker or coarser. And then we have a protein pack. A protein pack is going to use smaller keratin and larger keratin to kind of fill in all those imperfections. Because when the imperfections are filled, then the hair is going to be smoother, softer, shinier, but also improved elasticity and going to be supportive without breakage. Finally, but last but not least, within the nourishing, you're going to have the sealer. The keratin sealer is a spray-in that's going to close the cuticle and keep the hair strong, but also lock in any type of color issues that may be prone to fading because of the texture and the condition of the hair. So that's going to be your nourishing. Renewing, as we move into this one, is ideal for people that have resistant 2-gray coverage. What we're looking at is the fact that as we age, our hair loses softness, shine, and fullness. So renewing with spinach has the ability to basically repair the hair, but also keep the moisture in it. And it increases by more than 25% softness, shine, and fullness. We outsourced this to prove to, outside of Davines for people to test it and prove that it improves in this way. So definitely I recommend this for anyone with aged hair, meaning hair that's starting to go gray or hair that is longer. There is a shampoo, a conditioner, and then there is going to also be a super active serum. Remember, just like an anti-aging serum for your skin, your scalp itself needs it like a fertilizer. Apply it to the scalp, a few drops, and run it through so that it continues to keep the hair softer and fuller. Now we're moving into replumping. Replumping uses plums. So I always say, what does a plum look like when it's dried up? It's a prune. So your hair may be feeling or looking like a prune, shriveled and dry. And then you put a plum in, you put moisture in, and you get that fullness. In this line in itself, shampoo, conditioner, and a spray, a leave-in. The leave-in has hyaluronic acid, used as a plump and a filler for skincare, but now we're using it for hair. Great for finer textures and great for coarser, wiry textures, because the wiry textures, it allows it to fill in the imperfections so that the hair has a softer feeling and a more consistent, solid movement for curl. So those are going to be the ones that all have conditioners. So what does that tell us is that the shampoos with conditioners are meant for scalp and hair and can be used as often as you like. The shampoos that don't have conditioners are more used as a treatment. So in this case, we're going to have your detoxifying, which is your exfoliator, so more of a treatment exfoliator with artichokes. So that's going to be more intense in the ability to detoxify. We're going to have calming with blueberries. Calming is going to be great for people with psoriasis, eczema, and going to be for flakiness, because it's going to help with the fact of sensitivity. So it naturally is going to be calming for that type of issue. If you have gentle, just dry scalp, nourishing would be your go-to, but more pain sensitive and itchy is going to be more calming. Purifying is going to be for dandruff. I actually don't present purifying because I'm in Canada and it's actually not allowed in Canada because of the high medicinal ingredients and performance. But that one does have in the shampoo and the gel selenium disulfide and zinc pyritholone, which are incredible performing for dandruff. Remember that, Head and Shoulders is the #1 selling shampoo in North America. So if we can use a dandruff shampoo, that is going to be good for the skin, good for hair, good for color, and naturally focused with sustainability, I would definitely move into purifying. People are, I'm going to say, pretty well almost brought to tears in Canada to not have it. So definitely it is a high performance product. Then what we look at is we look at rebalancing. Rebalancing uses lemons. If you think of olive oil and you squeeze a lemon in, that naturally pushes the olive oil away. So in this case, if my scalp was very oily, I'm going to use rebalancing and it's going to balance out my sebum production. If I feel I need to wash my hair too often, or I don't want to wash my hair as often, rebalancing is going to be a great shampoo to use. Great for teens as well, and great for people that tend to touch their hair a lot because it helps remove that extra oil. My favorite for sure is going to be energizing. Caffeine and green tea. It stimulates the blood flow and cell reproduction. So what we're looking at is we're looking at the fact that hair goes through a growing phase, a resting phase, and a falling out phase. We need to keep that hair out of that falling out phase and into the growing and out of the resting too. So this is going to be the shampoo that I recommend. So keep in touch with people and find out what issues have been going on with their scalp so that you can best support it. The energizing has two different super actives. It has a seasonal super active and it has a super active. The simple way to remember is think of seasons. Seasons change. So that is for hair loss that can change. The super active on its own cannot be changed. So therefore, we generally put those two super actives in a split category of men versus women. Women hair loss, female hair loss is definitely going to be more seasonal, meaning it can change. Men's is going to be more something that has to be managed and can be hopefully improved in some capacity by keeping the stimulation going and managing that hair loss and keeping the hair growth. So both of these are going to be applied in the same way, where you're going to take the dropper and do the drop along the top and along the sides and rub in and leave. These will both help also manage oil production. So it'll be a great support for that, for hair that way as well. So the whole Naturaltech as a whole, you can see, is very, very involved in the fact of how effective it can be. The good thing is though, if anyone has any scalp issues, you can be rest assured that even if you use the so-called wrong one, it will still improve what the issues are. And what I mean by that is that I may have hair loss and oily. So just pick which one you want to focus on more, and the other one will naturally disappear too and be managed. So you can kind of work with the fact that when we're in Naturaltech, it will address scalp and hair issues almost as a whole, and then you can kind of go into one a little further. So hopefully that helps with that. So really quick, I'm going to touch on how we work with things when we look at managing with more inside. So when we're thinking about that, this is going to be more of our styling line. And so when we look at our styling line, what you're going to see is that our whole line is going to be water soluble. For me, that's a really important fact in performance, because what we're considering is that when we use styling like makeup, wouldn't you want it to come off and wash off easily? So you want to have something that is water soluble. Many lines are actually not water soluble. So this is going to be an important thing to remember and consider, specifically when we get into a lot of our men's products. When we also consider our packaging has a unique story. All of this paper is completely compostable. So yes, people will say, well, why, if you're a sustainable company, do you have secondary packaging? And it's because of the fact that we wanted to create a gift for you, showing the fact that the outside is a representation of the inside of the cathedrals of the buildings in Italy, where the formulas are very modern and current, using the most updated technology. So in wrapping it, something that's compostable and not using heavy lamination, water-soluble glues, vegetable-based inks, we are still far more sustainable with even a secondary packaging than using something that is toxic. So in this, they're all hand-wrapped, showing that gratitude and that support of how special the products are to us, and that there's always more to be discovered. When you look at the back of the packaging, you're going to see that there is 5 circles, and in this case, 2 X's. That means that this is a 2 out of 5 hold. So that's going to be how you'll understand the performance best out of the products. So with that, you're going to see we have many different hairsprays as options. You're going to have texture products, you're going to have curl products, you're going to have volume blow dry products, tubes, and you're going to have tins. Each one of these will have its own unique performance, and how I use them may be different than you. Just like I said with Naturaltech, More Inside I have as its own sort of like presentation, and I have both of them recorded. So at the end, if you wanted to receive any of those recordings, I can also send them to you. The other factor before we close is knowing that More Inside has a slow release moisture. What that refers to is the fact that if I were to take cold medicine or even pain medicine, it would naturally be released into my system, so that over time and over the day, I would slowly feel better and better and better. So the products are created with that same technology and moisture. So that moisture is slowly released into the hair so that the hair improves in quality and performance without getting dry or frizzy throughout the day. They also are going to have great texture factors that are going to allow the hair to have texture and hold without flakiness. So these are going to be great performances to consider with our More Inside. So again, looking at all we have to offer, the final one would be, at this point, going to be our Circle Chronicles. Our Circle Chronicles are our little masks that give us the great benefits that we may need with each of our hairstyle needs. Spotlight, for example, is going to have mica, which is going to give us shimmer. It's your selfie ready. So it gives us that extra bit of sparkle. Purity is going to be used with a charcoal clay. So this is going to be absorbing impurities in the scalp and hair. Let it go. I like to say this is kind of like your take a bath, have a glass of wine, light a candle. It's your let it go for the end of the day. It uses Brahmi oil, which is a meditation oil for calming. Quick fix, using, as we touched on in Naturaltech, hyaluronic acid, and that's going to fill in the imperfections so that the hair feels immediately repaired and shiny. Wake up. You may wake up feeling not so woken up or not so alert. So wake up is going to be like an energizing, and it's going to be like that extra shot of caffeine that your scalp and your hair needs. Renaissance. Thinking of the name Renaissance, what my hair used to be like or what I want my hair to be like. Great for people that are blonde, swimmers, and use hot tools. Immediately softening with babasu butter. I can never say that, Dave. It gives me a tongue twisting. And then Restless Circle. I saved this one for last because restless, thinking of the name, I can't sit still, is perfect treatment for people that can't sit still. So this will be a great support for when you're back behind the chair, if you're going to let people go with their hair without blow drying. Great to be able to give them a treatment and let them go with that. So hopefully you can kind of see where maybe each and every one of these families has something different and unique for you. Most of us have a few products that we use on our skin or on our face or on our hair. And so again, remembering that most people are going to be happy to have different supports for the different needs. So hopefully you found some new personalizations for you and how these products work. And as well, I'm also hoping that you have also found some new understandings of sustainability and can look into further for B corporations and how you can better support your guests and your clients with the benefits of Davines and why you align with it. So with that, we'll conclude our session for today. And please let me know if you have any questions at all. Again, the login is my phone number, so feel free to text me with your email. And I'll stop the recording and then you can ask in some messages if you have them for the next minute or two. So again, thank you, but I'll stay on to hear any feedback or any input that you have. So thank you.